calls are about persuasion, me convincing someone to buy ad services. But when I'm on a call, I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I am listening, and I'm not listening for what most people would expect. I want to talk about what I'm actually listening for on sales calls and why those signals matter more to me than enthusiasm, confidence, or even readiness. So there's a common idea of what good sales calls look like. The person's excited, they ask smart questions, they say they're ready to move forward, and all of those things are fine and they are good, but none of them tell me whether working together will actually go well. And that matters more to me and to my team than anything else. Excitement is easy to manufacture. Alignment is not. So at some point in the experience, the goal of a sales call really changes. And it stops being about getting a yes. That is not what I want when I'm on a sales call. I'm not trying to get someone to say, yes, sign up to me. I'll run your ads. It's not about the yes, because it's not about getting in as many clients as I possibly can for my team. It's about whether or not I think that this client would work well with our team and our culture, and whether or not I think we could get the client results. And to do that, you have to listen to a variety of different things that aren't just about excitement about the offer. So the first thing that I listen for is how they talk about what's actually going on in their business. And I pay close attention to how someone describes what's working, what's not working, and what they seem to understand. Do they talk about the symptoms, or do they understand the underlying issues? The people who name the problem clearly tend to make better decisions later. I got on a call last week with a woman, and I almost canceled the call because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this product is aligned, this niche, not sure if it's a fit for our team. But I got on the call with this woman and we were aligned. She and I spoke the same language. She understood the state of marketing today. We agreed that it needs to be authentic and that we need to build trust more than anything else. And it got to the point where the product she sold didn't even matter, because I was so convinced that she would align with me and my team and our philosophy. And I was ready to send out a contract to her when I'd been ready to cancel the call before I met her. And it was all because of that alignment. We spoke the same language. She knew what worked, what didn't, and was ready to dive in and test that with a good dose of reality. She wasn't all sunshine and roses, and she was ready to work hard. That made a difference too. It's really how the person shows up in the call tells me how they're going to show up as a client. I also spend a lot of time listening to how they talk about their past results. This one matters a lot. When someone comes in and talks about their past team or their past marketing and efforts, I'm listening for responsibility. I'm hoping that I don't hear blame or even self-criticism. Just someone who can own the situation and move forward. If they're going in and blaming everything on their last ads team, it doesn't mean they're not a fit, but it means that I'm going to listen more carefully, because there's a lot more to a system that's not working than just the past ads manager. There's a whole lot more going on there, and I'm listening to see if there's someone who grasps that it's a bigger picture. And I also look to see, are the results something that just happened, or are they something that they understand why they happened and something that they could have control over? The difference in how they show up around past results really impacts our conversation, how it goes, and whether or not I know we can be a fit and working together. So there's a few things though that I am not listening for or not really paying attention to. And I've learned to ignore these over time. How confident they sound in their offer doesn't necessarily matter to me. I need them to sound confident, but that alone is not going to win me over, because everybody thinks their offer is awesome and going to sell right out of the gate. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be trying. but I do look at history that proves the offer has sold, and history and presence that shows they're willing to work if the offer isn't immediately sellable. I pay close attention to that. I also pay attention to how fast they want to move. If they come in and want results right out of the gate and want launch a bunch of things, even if they haven't had success with ads right away, I worry, because you can't move that quickly with products or with ads. With ads, you are buying data from Meta about how to run better ads. And in the beginning, it's a lot of learning and a lot of testing. And there's simply no way to do a good job of going from $0 to $50, $0 to $50,000, $0 to $50. There's no way to do that quickly and do it well. It's a careful process where you test, evaluate, and make changes. So when people are coming in and telling me they want to move fast, I watch and I take it with a grain of salt. This is another thing. When someone comes in and tells me that they have a guru who's been super specific with this method and their ads, and that they want to emulate that guru, I am immediately cautious. Because more often than not, the gurus who've had success have had success on their specific offer. And the client who is coming in, their offer is entirely different than the guru's offer, or even maybe even just enough different. And if you chase the guru's methods for your products, you're going to run into trouble, because your offer, no matter what, is not like your guru. And now, don't get me wrong, I have mentors who have Meta advertising agencies just like I do, and I follow their advice and I trust their input. But when I'm marketing my business, I don't do it exactly like they do, because it's a different business. And when people come into me and say, I want to use XYZ ads method, that's almost always a recipe for trouble. We trust our clients to get the work on their end that needs to be done and to create products that their customers want. And at the same time, they trust us to execute solid ad strategy and to create a selling system for these offers that they work so hard on. We know ads, we know what works, and we do know those other gurus and their methods. We keep abreast of all of that, but we also know that the very best selling mechanism for your product is going to be a strategy that is custom and designed just for you. It's not going to be what worked for the guru. It's going to be what works for your ads. It's so interesting. I have people that when we're getting started about deciding whether or not to work together, fill out a form. And there's a lot of people who on paper will look like a fit. And they'll come to the sales call and they'll come and I'll be like, this is going to be the one. The budget aligns. Their business stage makes sense. They've got enough revenue to support ads. Their offer makes sense. All aligns. But if the way that someone thinks about marketing and people and engaging with people doesn't align, the work gets heavy fast. And it takes longer for us to execute. It takes longer to get the ads out. It takes longer to find success because we're not aligned and trust erodes. Everyone feels like they're pushing uphill. So just because people are aligned on paper doesn't mean that we're going to align as client and service provider. And sometimes people who aren't on paper are aligned. Like that woman I talked about at the very beginning of the video where I almost canceled the call. I almost canceled the call with her because it didn't look like she was aligned on paper. Turned out we were 100% aligned. So I look for more than just boxes to check when it comes to clients. We really look for clients with whom we are aligned, that we can relate to. And it just makes such a difference. And that's really the point I want to make here. Good marketing work depends less on excitement and metrics and benchmarks at the beginning than on how they make decisions when things get complicated and how we connect about those complications. Can we work through it together and look for resolutions, or is there a blame game that's going to start? That's what we're looking to tease out on sales calls. So if you are on sales calls often, and a lot of clients are, our clients are, it's worth paying attention to not just what people say they want, but how they say they want it. And that tells you a lot about how the work will actually feel. And if you're on the other side of the call, the same thing applies. How you talk about your business probably reveals more than you realize. You probably learned a lot about how we think about our business here from this video. That sort of awareness to the subcontext matters more than just about any of the top level numbers.